one of voter registration weekend. We've got 2 days set aside. So today is Saturday, the 18th, the second day being tomorrow, Sunday, the 19th. So welcome back. Another full day of business. We've been up quite early in the morning. So thank you one more time for coming through. I'm going to allow DCO Masiko Shogori who lead our statement. I'm joined here this afternoon also by senior managers of the IEC. I've got on my left Grenville Abrahams, who is part of the panel for this morning, for this afternoon, and we'll be joined very soon by some of the executives. But otherwise, it's all systems go as we look at D1. DCO Shogori.
Just as after the registration process for the 2024 national and provincial election commenced, the Electoral Commission provides an update as follows. First, we confirm that by 800 hours in the morning, which is the time at which we are scheduled to open our voting stations, 90% of voting stations were already open, with the residual opening and confirming operation by 8 hours 30. Similarly, we confirm that the overwhelming majority of the 68,718 electoral officers that had been trained and assigned to voting stations did report for duty. In isolated cases, we have had to replace persons at short notice, but that did not hamper the opening or the operation at the voting station. The Electoral Commission extends its gratitude to these countrymen and women who continue to avail themselves to do country duty. In the initial hours of this 2-day registration weekend, 326,000 voters had visited their voting stations and had their applications processed using the voter management device. This sets a good tone for the 2 days of voter registration. To repeat, 326,000 persons had visited stations and their transactions had been processed by 11:30 this morning. The turnout thus far is testament to the strength of our democracy, and we urge every South African to continue to seize the moment. The efficiency witnessed today is credited in the main to the innovative technology that we introduced in 2021 elections. Our voter management devices have captured thousands of registrations details, even in areas challenged by connectivity issued. Those are captured on the device, and once we can establish connectivity to the GSM, those records will be transmitted. As it relates to online voter registration, we can confirm that just today, 26,000 voters had registered on the online portal. We are on course to surpass the highest registration activity ever recorded on a single day. The highest activity was yesterday at 50,000 recorded on a single day. For those voters who are yet to receive confirmation of their finalized online application, we confirm that the Electoral Commission is seized with those activities to clear the exceptions. And again, there, an exception would be where a voter had uploaded an image of their ID document, however, that ID is either not clear or too faint that our technology can read it. We have capacity to manually look at those instances and to finalize the registration on behalf of the voters. Where there is a need, we will interact with the voters and the details that they have recorded when they created the profile on our voter registration system. To reiterate, proof of an address by way of a utility bill or a municipal statement is not a condition precedent to registration. A person presents at the voting station with the identity document and they provide an address or a description of an area in which they are ordinarily resident, and on that basis, the Electoral Commission will register them against an address linked to that voting district. For those voters who may still require assistance with identity documents, we are pleased to repeat that the Department of Home Affairs will maintain operation at its over 300 offices to facilitate issuance of new identity document or replacement documents to those South Africans who may have mislaid their documents. Once again, the Commission extends its profound thanks to the Department for going an extra mile and ensuring that citizens can register without hindrance. As we move forward, the Commission encourages all eligible voters to utilize the remainder of the registration weekend to participate in shaping the future of their country and nation, whether by doing so by registering online or at a registration station. This is your democracy. Own it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, DCO, on an excellent uptake to day one of voter registration weekend in South Africa. Your democracy, own it. I'm going to open question to the question time to the media. Your name, please, and the media house you represent. But definitely, DCO, it feels exceptionally great to be on day one of voter registration weekend. Let's take questions.
Thank you, Kenny Mapanga from SABC News. From the figures you've given us today, are you able to give us at least a background of the ages that have showed up in those numbers, to specifically on the online voter as well as the physical stations that they visited today?
Junior Komalo from Newsroom Africa. Just a point of clarity. You indicated that there were about 32,000, if I'm correct, the number of people that have registered today. And there were about 26,000 that had registered online. Okay, just, clarity on the numbers. So the total, is that the total number, the 326,000? Is it the total number that includes the individuals that registered online, or is it like the 32,000 went to the voting station and the other registered online? And just a point of clarity on the stations that had not opened. You said that 90% had opened. What were the problems in the other stations that had not opened? And we know that in the Northwest, about 3 stations had not opened, and it's recurring issues that happened in 2021. Did the IEC not perceive that this could happen, the service delivery protest, and was anything done to try and prevent this from happening? Thank you.
Let me take the third question.
Peter Molemane, Kaya News. Some of the Home Affairs, in fact, Home Affairs is having a challenge of the system crashing. The system has crashed since this morning. And then, we've seen or recorded eligible voters who were there to collect the IDs going back home. How do you respond? Is this a concerning issue to the IEC? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let me allow, is there a last, okay, my apologies. Let's pick up the last hand from the back. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Paul Mabusa from the Voice of Africa. With the online registration, how secure is the online registration system, considering that there's quite a high number of cybersecurity that is looming around us? How secure is that? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much. On that note, let me allow the DCO to deal with the issues. We've got a team around from the Electoral Commission, so we're in good hands, DCO.
Thank you very much. We will, after the voter registration weekend, give more detail of the breakdown in terms of age, demographics, stations and provinces and municipalities at which the registrations have been harvested. We are not able to do that now. The stations that did not open, it is regrettable that in certain communities, there's still the practice of linking genuine concerns by communities to the electoral process in a very deleterious way, in a way that disrupts and interferes with the rights of other citizens who may be inclined to go update their registration details or to register. We are aware of those cases. However, it is not our intention that we want to profile them in this statement. We are working with community leaders, with security structures to ensure that even in those isolated instances, people who want to register are still able to do so without let or hindrance. The figures, the 326,000 are people who have physically attended to a voting station, while the 26,000 are persons who may be registering from anywhere across the world on the online portal. I will ask my colleague Grenville to deal with the issues related to the security of the online voter registration system. Grenville, take this seat.
Thank you, DCO. First and foremost, the online voter registration portal has now been up and running for more than 2 years, so it's nothing new, and we've had opportunity over these 2 years, obviously, to test it as well. It involves two-factor authentication, and one of it being an OTP that is sent to a cell phone number of the person who had made the application. Also, in terms of the information, it also requires that the identity document of the person applying must be uploaded, and through either optical character recognition or barcode scanning, we read in that information from the card, and where that is not possible, we have at the back end physical exception clearing. So it is quite secure. And as I've mentioned now, we've been doing this for the last 2 years, and it's proving, especially for this election, to be extremely popular. DCO has mentioned yesterday, we nearly doubled our previous record by having about 50,000 people visiting the portal. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Grenville. I think DCO dealt with the other questions earlier on. If there are any other questions of clarity, I'm trying to also check online. I'm not picking up any other issues. Okay, let's take one more last line before we wrap up.
Sorry, Kate, there's a question from Sashan Naidu from SABC Radio asking for clarity on homeless people voting and clarification on their requirements if they don't meet the ones set by IEC to vote.
Is there any other question? If none, there's an issue about overseas voters, access to online, if we can deal with that as well, Grenville and DCO. Yeah, access for overseas voters, whether they can access online. Anyone that I've missed in the room? All right, let's deal with these two issues.
Thank you. With regard to registration abroad, we are also in the final processes of launching a platform for those who are online as well. Unfortunately, those who are abroad can't use the same system that we have inside of the country because, first of all, the requirement for them is different. In addition to their ID document, they also require to have a valid passport, and on the online platform, we are providing for both of those documents to be uploaded. Secondly, an address abroad is not important as it is inside of South Africa because there's basically just, if you want to call it, one voting district in the country where they are, so that address will not determine really or really be that significant at the end of the day. We were hoping to have it available for this weekend. We are still trying. Suffice to say that as soon as it is available, we will put it on our website. At the same time, however, is that the mechanism that brings about online registration for those abroad is the regulations, which is not yet passed as yet, but that will not detract us from make it available as soon as it is. We're just in the final phases of testing before we launch it.
The question around homeless persons and their rights to vote, let's restate the requirements for participation in an election. South Africa promises, or the Constitution promises, universal adult suffrage premised on a common voters' roll. So the requirements are as follows. A person must be a citizen. They must have attained the age of majority. We register them at 16, but they can only vote at 18. If they register in person, they must produce their physical document, identification document, or a temporary identification certificate. They must then give us an address or a description of a place they call home. On that basis, we will register them and guarantee their rights as voters. Similarly, a person who is registered on the voters' roll and the commission still has no address for that person, their right of franchise are guaranteed because in 2019 Parliament amended the law to provide a provision that, one, safeguards their continued franchise, but also ensures the freeness of an election by requiring of that person to provide an address or a description of a place of their ordinary residence before they are allowed to vote on election day. Thank you very much.
Okay. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, let me pause this press briefing. Lots and lots of work outside in the streets as we vote South Africans, as we ensure that those who are going to vote in the 2024 national and provincial elections are registered. DCO, Ntate Grenville, thank you very much. I think we're good to go. We take the remaining hours of the day to register to vote South Africans. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming through.